very much indeed for coming, everybody. I'm Gillian Bickley. With my husband, Verner Bickley, I'm co-founder of the Proverse Prizes for unpublished writing submitted in English, and also, with Verner, co-publisher of Proverse Hong Kong. We're really pleased that so many of you could come this evening, and we hope next time, as the COVID-19 virus is controlled even more, as we hope, that even more of us can join in person. Normally, we aren't sitting down, normally we're standing up, and there are 80 people in the room. But 36 is really, really good, and thank you very much for coming. You may like to know that to reach out, as they say now, to people who couldn't be here, a version of this event, pre-recorded, is being released worldwide, including Hong Kong, of course, on YouTube, in parallel with what we're doing here. Two of the launching authors this evening are from Australia, one from Italy. For this reason, we particularly welcome Mr. Fossati, Director, Italian Cultural Institute in Hong Kong, and Ms. Katie O'Rourke, Consul, Political Economic Australia. We're happy that Proverse authors, Mr. Philip Chatting, wave your hand, Philip, Ms. Catherine Chinlow, Catherine, Dr. Alfred Alfred, wave your hand on it. He hasn't got a hand. Well done. And Mr. José Manuel Sevilla are with us. Also with us are poets whose work has been or will soon be published in the Proverse Prize anthologies, the Mingled Voices series. Helen Davis, Helen, Susan Lavender, Janice will be here later. This is Janice's chair. Janice will be here later. And Chan Kon E. Tom. Tom, you're back. Right, hi. Thank you very much for your loyalty and support. Now, housekeeping. We're all sitting down now, which is good, because we're supposed to remain at our tables, not wander around. And if we leave the table and go into the outer room, please put your mask on. Book purchase. It is a party, but there are books, and we hope you'll buy some. To avoid breaching social distancing by having a busy book table, we put one copy of each of the launching books on each table for you to see. If you'd like a copy, please use one of the envelopes, white envelopes on the table. Write your name on it, the book titles you're purchasing, put your cash inside, and take the book from the table outside. Or, if you don't have any cash, you can pay cashless by emailing proverse@netvigator.com, PayPal me, Proverse Hong Kong. I don't actually know how to do that myself, it's a very new thing, but I know it works. And again, please make a note on the envelope saying what you've done. Another way is if there's a very responsible person on each table, maybe people who have been accountants, or who are accountants, maybe they would like to take responsibility for helping everybody on the table to buy as many books as possible. That would be great. The program will consist of a mixture of live and videoed interventions. As you see, we have two screens. We want to make sure that everybody can see as well as everybody else, as far as possible. If anybody can't see, you're welcome, without breaching social distancing, to stand up and not block anybody else to see a different screen. All right? Just in case one of them doesn't work. Photographs and video recordings. We're very grateful to Felix Wong. Here's Felix, who's going to operate the video interventions. He's going to be a very, very busy man. And Polly Ho is going to help him. Thank you very much, Polly. Felix will also be our official photographer and videographer, but I know that Helen Davis, Polly Hope and Janice, who isn't here yet, will also be taking photographs, and anybody is free to do so. If you do accept a photograph, or to be filmed, we hope you're willing for that to be put on Facebook, our website, our newsletter, our YouTube channel. Anybody who doesn't want that to happen, please speak to Felix afterwards. But in the meantime, can I hear, are you willing for your face to appear in any of those things? Hands up, are you willing? Can I hear you? Yes! Thank you very much. Thank you. So I now have pleasure to introduce on video Dr Verner Bickley, co-founder of the International Proverse Prizes for unpublished writing submitted in English, maybe a translation, and co-publisher of Proverse Hong Kong. So, please look at the video, the screen that's most convenient for you. I'll try to get out.
Greetings, everyone. Gillian and I founded the Proverse Prizes because we saw that most literary prizes were restricted in some way. We wanted there to be prizes that everyone could enter. And this is what we created. Anyone, 18 years old or more, male or female, published writer or not, is eligible to enter for the Proverse Prizes, irrespective of nationality, residence, or citizenship. The Proverse Prize for an unpublished book-length work of fiction, non-fiction, or poetry submitted in English, maybe in translation, was announced in 2008 and is in its 13th year of competition. The Proverse Poetry Prize for single poems is in its 6th year of competition. People from all over the world, as well as in Hong Kong, have entered for the prizes. Including the books being published tonight, 19 have won the Proverse Prize, 39 have won a publication prize or been published following entry for the prize. A few hundred have had one or more poems published in the annual Proverse Poetry Prize anthology. Writers in Hong Kong and overseas have expressed their appreciation of our work. Some of them are here tonight. Prior to the pandemic, writers and poets have travelled from Australia, Chile, Estonia, Israel, New Zealand, and the USA to join these events. Some have been sponsored by a cultural body in their own country. Others have financed themselves. We are most grateful that Hong Kong Arts Development Council has on a couple of occasions in recent years offered some support for one or other of the two prizes, seeing them as a contribution to the development and appreciation of literary arts in and of Hong Kong. The International Proverse Poetry Prize is for poems of any genre or style, generally no more than 30 lines long. Entrants may choose their own topic, or they may choose the annual set topic. These set topics may be interpreted in any way each entrant likes. In the past few years, the topics have been, in turn, the environment, happiness, refuge, plastic, and hunger. In 2021, the set topic was shielding. In 2022, the topic will be renewal. Here are the results of the 2021 Proverse Poetry Prize. The third prize winners are Jack Mayer, USA, Maria Elena Blanco, Chile and Austria, Denise O'Hagan, Australia, Helen Oliver, New Zealand. The second prize winner is George Watt, Australia. The first prize winner is Rowana Radwaraska Williams, Macau and the USA. The names of all those who have won a prize in the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2021, including 5 who, though not first, second or third prize winners, are specially mentioned, will be listed on the Proverse website and or the Proverse Facebook page and or Twitter feed in a couple of days' time. Congratulations to all. We look forward to the publication of the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2021 in April 2022. As mentioned, the Proverse Prize is awarded for unpublished work. On average, it takes a year or more for publishers and author to edit and prepare a winning work for publication. As a result, publication is about a year after entry for the prize. Here are the results of the Proverse Prize 2020 competition. 3 entries have been awarded as winners of publication prizes. 2 entries have been awarded as a winner of the Proverse Prize. All are being launched tonight. We are grateful to Hong Kong Arts Development Council for grants made to assist publication of each of the 3 Hong Kong winning entries. Publication prizes go to A Gateway Has Opened by Liam Blackford, Hong Kong and Australia. Please Stand Back from the Platform Door by Vishal Nanda, Hong Kong. London Letters Home, 1861 to 1865, of an American apprentice preparing for the Far East tea trade by Penelope Pelham West, USA. The Proverse Prize is shared by Uncharted Waters by Paola Caronni, Hong Kong and Italy, and The Finlay Confession by George Watt, Australia. Congratulations to all.
That was too soon. So, Verner's now going to give a copy of their book to each of the winning authors. So, darling, would you like to come up here, sweetheart? Come on. All right. Okay, come on, stop here. Right. So, who's going to come first? Paola, would you like to come first? Paola. So, put now, Verner, make sure you face it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, face the camera. Now let's have Vishal, since you're at the same table, on the different table. Come on, Vishal. Congratulations. Congratulations. Paola, Liam, Vishal. Congratulations. So that's very exciting. 3 lovely new books. We look forward to reading them. I'm just going to show you, if I can find it, this. So the 2 people who are not here, this is George Watt's book. I didn't have enough to put on each of the tables because people have bought them, which is really good. So this is George Watt's book, he with Paola, that they're both winners of the Proverse Prize. Obviously, different books. So they share the cash prize, but each gets publication. And then one other publication prize is by a lady living in Maine, USA, and this is her book, which is a non-fiction or academic book. It's an edition of her grandfather or her great-grandfather's letters, written in mid-19th century. He was an apprentice tea taster. He was learning to be a tea taster in London in order to come out to China to taste tea. He was 17 years old when he went to London to become an apprentice. It was really very interesting. And now, in a moment, I have pleasure to introduce Mr. Stefano Fossati, Director of the Italian Cultural Institute in Hong Kong. Mr. Stefano Fossati was born in Torino. He studied very difficult languages. I'm extraordinarily impressed. He studied Sanskrit, Pali, and Arabic languages at Torino University and graduated with a thesis on ancient Indian aesthetics. After graduation, he worked for 2 years at SESMIO, the International Institute for Advanced Asian Studies, where he studied the Hindi language and spent 3 months in India, mainly in Benares, for research. From 1966 to 2001, he worked as an assistant language teacher at Delhi University. In 2001, he became cultural attaché at the Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs, and in 2003 was posted to the Italian Cultural Institute in Tokyo, where his main responsibility was the organization of courses in Italian language and culture. Mr. Fossati served as director of the Italian Cultural Institute in Melbourne from 2008 to 2013, and Osaka from 2014 to 2019. We're very happy that Mr. Fossati is now with us in Hong Kong and with us this evening. Mr. Fossati.
Thank you for this detailed biography. I didn't even remember of these things. I'm not very well. So thank you for inviting me to this beautiful evening, this lovely building, and I congratulate Gillian and Dr. Gillian and Dr. Verner for this very wonderful event and publishing activity. I'm very glad on this occasion that one Italian lady, Ms. Paola Caronni, won one of the 2 prizes. Paola has been living in Hong Kong for 15 years, I think, and she's one of the most distinguished member of the Italian community. She's been president and vice president of the Italian Women Association. It's a very active group, association, very much involved in the cultural activities and volunteer work. And then she also was active in organizing 2 literary events in 2019 with the collaboration of the Italian Cultural Institute, so 2 Italian poetry nights. To write poetry is to write in a different language is always difficult. To write poetry is a very, very challenging task. So I'm very impressed that she not only could publish a book but got a prize. And this year, we at the Cultural Institute are celebrating the 700th anniversary of the death of Dante Alighieri, one of the most important poetry in the world. Dante was not only the author of the Divine Comedy, but also the creator of Italian language. He created thousands of new words. So I see this as a nice coincidence that this year another Italian poet has been recognized by this wonderful prize. So I congratulate again Paola and all the authors that have been, whose books have been launched today, and look forward for enjoying the evening with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Fossati. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very nice coincidence, as you say. So, here are more results from the 2021 competitions. This time, the semi-finalists for the Proverse Prize 2021. The results this year are in strong contrast with those last year. Then, 5 of the 10 semi-finalists lived in Hong Kong. This year, none of the semi-finalists live in Hong Kong. I guess we used up all the talent for a short while. Maybe next year, everything will change. The semi-finalists are a novel by Dami Jung, The Netherlands, formerly of South Korea, poetry collections by Venita Agrawal, India, J.B. Linstroth, USA, Gavin Bourke, Ira, Nikhil Parekh, India, a mixed short story and poetry collection by J.P. Linstroth, USA. Other entries are being considered for supplementary, that means publication prizes, but these will not be announced until publication. It's possible that among the semi-finalists whose names have been read out, those who do not advance to become the one or maximum 2 winners of the Proverse Prize may also be awarded supplementary prizes. Congratulations to all. We now come to the authors of the launching books and one relaunching book. One of our steps in preparing a book for publication is to work with the author to solicit advance comments, not blurbs. We really ask people to read the book, not just say something nice about it, about their book. I'll now introduce each author featured at this event by reading a brief snippet from these comments. I hope in due course you will support all these authors by reading, and if possible by buying, their books. It would be much appreciated if you could please write your own comments on their work and spread the word about each of them. So, each of you knows when it's going to be your turn, right? Because you've got a program in front of you. A gateway has opened by Liam Blackford. Liam's poems are described by leading Australian poet and critic Philip Mead, Emeritus Professor, University of Western Australia, as unique explorations of poetic form. Liam.
Sorry everyone, but thank you. Thank you for waiting. Hi everyone, my name is Liam Blackford. I'm a West Australian poet living and working in Hong Kong. In the last few years I've wrote a poetry collection called A Gateway Has Opened. I'm very thrilled that the collection is now published by Proverse Hong Kong. This is my first poetry collection. The collection has 36 poems. Each poem has 6 stanzas. Each stanza has 6 lines, and each line has 6 syllables. On top of that, the collection is divided into 6 sections, and the sections are called 6 Visions of Freedom, 6 Visions of No One, 6 Dreams of Violence, 6 Visions of China, 6 Spirits Walk the Earth, and 6 Visions of Our World. The poems were all written in Hong Kong between 2016 and 2020. The themes of the poems in the collection are not really personal or written from my personal experience, but they try to get at external topics such as truth and reality, anxiety and rage, complexity and change, and power, including power in people, corporations, governments, borders and culture. The collection uses some psychedelic imagery, including things like beaches, caves and dunes, as well as nightclubs, malls, city streets, and some unrecognisable locations where there are no people at all. Although the content is speculative or phantasmagoric, actually it is intended to reflect our actual reality. Some of the poems are meditative, some are spiritual, and some are devotional. So many people ask why use the 666 form. There are many reasons for this. I'll just say a few now. I find the form to be very harmonious, and it allows for different kinds of patterns and repetitions in the poems. The poems are kind of like art objects or kind of crystals which have a geometric pattern, and I think it's pleasurable for the reader to read and see the patterns, so I find it pleasurable. I also have the idea that the form is kind of supernatural, like if an angel or a machine or a cyborg was speaking to us, it might speak in a form like this. So thank you very much, all of you, for attending tonight. I'm very pleased again that the collection is published. I hope you get a chance to read it, and if you do, I hope you like it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liam. Thank you. Well done. So, Vishal, it's your turn in a moment. So, please stand back from the platform door by Vishal Nanda. Vishal Nanda's collection has been described as a tour de force by Peter Kennedy, Honorary Professor in the English Department at the University of Hong Kong, who is with us tonight. Vishal.
Hello, I'm Vishal Nanda, as you can tell. My debut poetry collection details life in Hong Kong and the extraordinary pressures placed on individuals in Hong Kong, which is, I'm sure, something we can all identify with to some extent. I've been performing live poetry for quite a while now, almost every week for more than 5 years. I forget how much more exactly, to be honest, too many more by some people's reckoning. If you've heard me before, you know I like to infuse my poetry with comedy and absurdity, and although some of the poems in the collection contain that, many of them I've never performed because they are very personal and very distinct to the Hong Kong experience. To tell you a little bit about myself, I actually grew up in Hong Kong. I was born here, the second generation to be born here. My father was born here as well. And I consider myself a local in my own specific way, neither expat nor Chinese, and the collection navigates some of these identity issues. I doubt any of us feel like we fit in all the time, so perhaps some of those experiences can also be universal. At least that's one of my hopes. You don't have to be Indian to understand the collection or be from Hong Kong. So, I mean, it's written in English, so anyway. The city can boast of having one of the highest life expectancies in the world, but the quality of that life and the mental struggles that we go through are not so easily documented on a table in Wikipedia. As someone with mental health issues myself, like so many others, the poems explore the extreme highs and lows of how I have experienced the city, and I hope that my work can connect with anyone else out there who has also felt alone and isolated in one of the busiest places on Earth. The collection explores themes of very upbeat, positive themes of anxiety, depression, even suicide, but there are also some funny ones, I think, I promise. It's also more quirky than depressing itself, though as a first for me, there's not a... oh God, I'm going to cut that from the speech. It's on the video, isn't it? Oh, whatever. As a first for me, there is not a single phallic reference to be had in the whole collection. And I don't know how I feel about that, or how you might feel about that, but that's the kind of collection it is. If writing is a journey of self-discovery, then poetry is collecting souvenirs along the way. And I can plot each one of these poems against particular stages of my life. The collection is an accumulation of years of learning to cope, process, make fun of life. I took on a persona in many of the poems, so do not worry, you do not need to have me institutionalized just yet. There are so many people, if you will indulge me, I'd like to thank some of them who have helped me along the way. Some of them are here tonight, and some of them have left Hong Kong. And there are far too many people I have to thank, so I apologize in advance if I miss any of them out, but they're not here, so they won't care. I'd like to thank my family who is here, my parents, my brother, my sister-in-law for their enormous support of my creative writing over the years. And I'd like, of course, to thank the Proverse Prize, its judges, and particularly its co-founder, Gillian Bickley, who has patiently, really patiently, walked me through the publishing process over the last year. I never thought I'd see my work in a book, and I'm grateful to the entire process for your belief and support, Gillian. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the writing community at Peel Street Poetry, which some of you might have heard of, and some of whom are here. Both Paola and Liam have read at that poetry collective as well. And I'd like to thank the current MC and fellow Proverse Prize winner. No. He got published by Proverse. Yeah, he did. Okay. That's okay, great. That's great. So, Henrik Hogue for his continued support and advice. There's Akin JJ for always believing in me, and Peter Kennedy, who is here for his many wise words of wisdom. She's no longer in Hong Kong, but I also like to thank Nashua Gallagher, founder of Peel Street Poetry, who always told me I'd have my words in print one day. Liam is pretty great too, and Paola is a swell poet in her own right, and I highly encourage you to read their poems. They are amazing. And they have certainly inspired me throughout my writing journey. I'd also like to thank the friends who supported me in my moments of doubt. Feedback is a hard pill for any writer to swallow, but I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to grow and improve as a writer, and I don't think I'd be here today without some tough edits from people along the way. And last but not least, I'd like to thank and embarrass my fiancée, Becca, who we met at Peel Street Poetry more than 4 years ago, and we've been supporting each other's writing journeys since. She pushes me to grow creatively every day, and has always demanded my best. And trust me, she doesn't sugarcoat when something is just okay. And without her encouragement, edits, and assistance compiling these poems, this collection would never have seen the light of day, so I am so grateful for her love and support. And finally, thanks for bearing with me. I'd like to thank all of you who have turned out tonight for this event. And thank you for all your support for creative writing in Hong Kong. It is really heartwarming to see such a brilliant response. It is a fact that publishers like Proverse still exist that allows people and yourselves, people like yourselves coming to events like this that enables creative expression to continue in Hong Kong. So anyway, that's enough for me. With that, thank you.
Thank you very much, Vishal. Thank you very much indeed. Uncharted Waters by Paola Caronni. Donald Berger, Johns Hopkins University, USA, has said that Paola's words fulfill our need to travel, to explore, perceive in new ways. Paola?
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight as one of the 2 winners of the Proverse Prize 2020 and to see my poetry collection Uncharted Waters in the good company of the works of the other winner, Professor George Watt from Australia, and of my amazing fellow poets, Vish and Liam, and all of the other selected poets and writers. Uncharted Waters would not exist without Proverse Hong Kong's continuous support for poetry and the written word. Therefore, I'd like to thank the Proverse founders, Dr Gillian Bickley and Dr Verner Bickley, the Proverse judges for believing in my work, and the Proverse editors and the whole team for their assistance and for turning my collection into a book. I'm also obliged to Hong Kong Arts Development Council for the grant given for the publication of my poetry collection. My gratitude goes also to my family in Hong Kong and Italy, my husband Tech, who's show up tonight. for his encouragement, my daughter Anthea for the illustration on the book cover, and my son Leonardo for the picture of the author at the back of the book. I would also like to thank all my friends, the group of inspiring poets I meet every week at the social room, my MFA advisor at Hong Kong U, headed by Professor Paige Richards. I'm very glad tonight to be able to share this special event with Mr. Stefano Fossati, Director of the Italian Cultural Institute, and with all of you here tonight. I'd like now to tell you about an interesting discovery that I've recently made. During my stay in Italy this summer, I walked through the woods, not far from home, until I reached a distance post with a trail map of the area and an explanation of the origins of the nearby villages. One of these villages was Caronno Varesino. I knew that my family name Caronni was something like coming from Caronno, and I guess my father's ancestors probably lived around there. But I was very surprised to read that the origin of the name Caronno is Proto-Celtic, and it comes from Gar Arn, which means close to a flowing river. Arn is river, from Latin Arnus. Think about the river Arno in Florence. So, as they say in Latin, nomen omen, the name is a sign. So water has not only been running in the family, but throughout my entire life, and I call Hong Kong, a city partly developing on islands, my home now. For this reason, my first poetry collection could only be a celebration of water in all its forms: oceans, seas, rivers, streams. Water unites and divides my two worlds, Italy and its many beautiful lakes and seas, and Hong Kong, but also other shores, with the rivers sail up during my trip, among which the Mekong, the Irrawaddy, the Lamanak. And obviously, seas and oceans, and also swimming pools, where sometimes my poems take shape. Even well-known waters can be uncharted. We will never know their depths, but we will still plunge into them, curious and ready to explore. My poetry collection takes shape in Hong Kong, narrating my first encounters with the city and its islands and my life journey here, and subsequently moves to other countries in Asia, Central America, Northern Africa. I then travel back in time to Italy, riding the waves of the Mediterranean Sea, the memories of my youth and the troubles of modern times. Finally, I explore the more intimate universe of love, pain, motherhood, memories, and ultimately the act of writing. Because for me, Uncharted Waters also represents a conceit, a bigger metaphor, the use of English when writing. A language I started learning at age 14, quite familiar now, but still a deep ocean full of fascinating mysteries and secrets. I would therefore say that this collection is a discovery of all the water I swam in during my life and of a language, English, with its beauty and challenges. All this takes me back to my origins, out of the woods and close to flowing, uncharted waters. Thank you again to all of you.
Thank you very much, Paola, and congratulations again. Congratulations. The Year of the Apparitions by José Manuel Sevilla. The Year of the Apparitions, this is the Year of the Apparitions, came to Proverse Hong Kong as a publication proposal and not as an entry for the Proverse Prize. Born Rapatahana of New Zealand, the Philippines and Hong Kong, Proverse poet and winner of the inaugural Proverse Poetry Prize, asserts that with this collection, Hong Kong finally has its first magic realist. These dream nuance pieces splatter our senses with a veritable, I never know how to chiaroscuro, of fanciful images. The Orient and Catalonia merge seamlessly in one kaleidoscopic, poetic imbroglio. Jose.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Gillian. This is like a second chance. This should have happened April last year. So second chances don't happen very often. So I'm very, very grateful. I appreciate this opportunity from Dr. Gillian and Dr. Verner. This Years of the Apparitions was written in a very special year for both Hong Kong and Catalonia, my home place. It was 2010. And its verses talk about the apparitions in our lives, the wanted and also the uninvited. To me, living is an incessant flow of apparitions from other worlds, dead or alive, or still unknown, from other times, dead or alive or still unknown, from the family that we didn't choose and of which we are made, from the strangers that loved us and hated us, from our betrayals and our commitments, from our beliefs and disbeliefs. But my favorite apparitions are from the future, where justice finally happens, where Adam and Eve fight and finally win paradise for themselves after struggling with the angels who wanted them out, where miracles are true. That is why I love movies and why they are always present in my poetry. I have seen a few miracles in my life. I was in Berlin when the wall was opened. I have seen a black person, President of the United States. I have even seen Leicester winning the Premier League. So those were impossible things. That was impossible when I was born. In that place and time ruled by patriots. Because everything was impossible back there and then. But apparitions are stubborn. They are unstoppable. They will bring more miracles, more impossible things. They made me write poetry, and this book, beautifully published by Proverse in my beloved Hong Kong. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you.